Alright, I'm going to read from Exercise Physiology book, page 149, Somatic Motor Functions in Motor Neurons. The term somatic refers to outer, non-visceral regions of the body. The somatic motor portion of the peripheral nervous system is responsible for carrying neural messages from the spinal cord to skeletal muscle fibers. These neural messages are the signals for muscular contraction to occur. Muscular contraction will be discussed in detail in Chapter 8. The organization of the somatic motor nervous system is illustrated in figure 7.14. The somatic neuron that innervates skeletal muscle fibers is called the motor neuron, also called the alpha motor neuron. Note that the cell body of motor neurons is located within the spinal cord. The axon motor neuron leaves the spinal cord as a spinal nerve and extends to the muscle that is responsible for innervating. After the axon reaches the muscle, the axon splits into collateral branches. Each collateral branch innervates a single muscle fiber. Each motor neuron and all the muscle fibers that it innervates is known as the motor unit. When a single motor neuron is activated, all the muscle fibers that it innervates are stimulated to contract. However, note that the number of muscle fibers that a motor neuron innervates is not constant and varies from muscle to muscle. The number of muscle fibers innervated by a single motor neuron is called the innervation ratio, the number of muscle fibers motor neurons. In muscle groups that require fine motor control, the innervation ratio is low. For example, the innervation ratio of the extraocular muscle, the muscles that regulate eye movement, is 23:1. In contrast, innervation ratios of large muscles that are not involved in fine motor control, leg muscles, may range from 1,001 or 2,000:1. One of the ways the central nervous system can increase the force of muscle contraction is by increasing the number of motor units that are recruited. The term motor unit recruitment refers to the progressive activation of more and more motor neurons. Recruitment of additional motor units activates more muscle fibers, which increases the strength of a voluntary muscle contraction. In general, motor units are recruited in an orderly fashion as a function of their size. For example, when a muscle is initially activated to lift a weight, the first motor units to fire are small in size. This results in a limited amount of force generation. However, when more force is required, lifting a heavy weight, there's a progressive increase in the recruitment of more large motor neurons to increase muscle force production. This orderly and sequentially recruitment of large motor units is called the size principle. For more details on the size principle, see a closer look at 7.1, and for information on the scientists that discovered this important principle of neurophysiology, see Important People in Science. In summary, the somatic motor portion of the peripheral nervous system is responsible for carrying neural messages from the spinal cord to the skeletal muscle fiber. A motor neuron and all the muscle fibers that it innervates are known as the motor unit. The number of muscle fibers innervated by the single motor neuron is called the innervation ratio. The number of muscle fibers motor neurons. Muscle fibers to motor neurons. The size principle is defined as the progressive recruitment of motor units beginning with the smallest motor neuron and progressing to larger motor neurons. Alright, so that went from page 149 to finishing on page 151. That is somatic motor functions in motor neurons. See ya.